Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. Rusty Humphries with you. You are listening to the Rusty Humphries Show and the Thom Hartmann Show.
Hello. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Millions
Indeed.
of people listening right now. And
Indeed.
maybe we're going to change some minds and hearts today.
Maybe. You were saying, we were talking just a moment ago.
In the non-commercial section.
In the break, yeah.
You commercial people, buy all those products that you just heard on both our shows. Buy them all. Every single one of them, please.
Yes. And tell them you like both shows. You were talking about how, and we were talking about how nowadays it seems that if the president proposes it, the Republicans won't go along with it. If George Bush had proposed it, the Democrats wouldn't have gone along with it. I pointed out Harry Truman had that problem. He ran against that, and I think America voted and said enough of this already. In fact, I think the history of the Eisenhower administration is one of great bipartisanship.
Because you had the
moderation.
Right, yeah, right. Well, you had 20 years of FDR. And the Democrat policies and the New Deal policies and the increase in big government and Republicans trying to push back. And so, under Eisenhower, it was like people finally, whew, geez, enough of that. Let's just kind of...
Let's build a country. Let's build our country back.
Maybe we can start doing that if more guys like you and I talk.
Maybe we should invade and occupy a country and build their schools and roads, and that country could be America. Okay, so anyhow, you were telling a story about Harry Reid.
Well, Harry Reid, I used to live in Reno, and Harry Reid used to come on my show all the time. We didn't agree on anything, but actually we had nice conversations. He would come to my house. I had dinner with him. We're working on having him on my program to talk like this. He's changing the way where he's not doing those kind of things anymore. He's not talking to the people. All congressmen seem to, even senators, especially senators, are insulating themselves. And I don't see how that's good for anybody.
Right. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Well, we've got a couple of bomber comments here on the line, but we'll take those. I don't disagree with you. However, the night that Obama was sworn in, there was the meeting the Robert Draper immortalized in his book, They Speak Not of the Ill We Do, or whatever, that meeting at the Caucus Room restaurant just a few blocks from here, where 19 Republicans, members of the Senate and the House, got together along with Newt Gingrich and Frank Luntz and swore basically a blood oath to block anything Obama did for the next 4 years to try to destroy his presidency.
I don't think it's a personal thing. What my concern is, and I believe their concern was too, that he was and has tried to take the country too far to the left.
What does that mean?
Things like Obamacare, which is fundamentally going to change our healthcare system. I don't know about you. I tried buying insurance at the beginning of the year. It was next to impossible. I had a really, 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 really hard time.
But you realize we're in about the only developed country. I think we're in the only developed country in the world where the phrase having to buy insurance even exists.
It's not working in those other places. And Tom, you want to talk to a guy that understands what it's like? My wife passed away after being sick for 8 years and in the hospital every 2 weeks for 2 weeks. Believe me, I understand the costs of health care, okay? Yeah, Believe me, I get it. But I don't believe that you should be paying for my health care or he should be paying for my health care. And my concern is... It's not your responsibility.
But aren't we all members of this country? Aren't we family?
And all that sounds great. It does. It sounds great if we just put our money together.
I'm not talking about I'm going to buy your car. Right, I'm not talking about you're going to buy my clothes.
It just doesn't work.
I'm talking about health care.
It sounds great. It just doesn't work. I wish it did. I really do. There's things, the idea of socialism, where we put our money together and we don't have to pay for food. We just kind of all work together as one.
That's really communism, not
communism, socialism, whatever ism you want to call it. Yeah. You've spent time in Israel. I've spent time in Israel.
Sure.
The kibbutz system. It sounds great.
Well, when you have 200 or 300 people, it works.
Sure.
But when you try to do that with 5,000 or 10,000 people, it doesn't
they're
work.
having a lot of problems.
Sure. And the Soviet Union, I think, is a great demonstration of how it doesn't work with large numbers of people. But I'm not suggesting that. I'm all in favor of private means of production. But there are things that I think are the commons. I think that our fire departments, our police departments, our schools, our health care. I think these are things that we should be providing collectively to each other.
There's some collective stuff there, but we look at the education's a great example where we're having so much difficulty. And if you've got...
But we weren't 30 years ago.
Weren't we?
30 years ago, being a teacher was one of the one of the lowest turnover professions that required a college degree.
Okay.
Today, it is officially the highest turnover profession.
And
that requires a college degree.
What has changed? Is it the kids? Is it the parents? Is it the pay?
It's going to sound very partisan, but I think it's people like Scott Walker trashing teachers and cutting their pay.
Well, we keep hearing that they don't make any money. I hear, well, they're only making $30,000 plus benefits the first year. Tom, I've been in radio. $30,000 in my first year out of college. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine it. My first job out of college, I don't know about you, it was $10 an hour maybe. I was pulling down $12,000 a year. Yeah, I went to college too, and it takes a long time to build that stuff up. So again, I'm not putting down teachers, but I also know that the first chance I got my kids in a private school. And I think where teachers and schools have a problem is they fight against the idea of competition. I don't see why that's something that's a problem.
And this is, I guess we'll just have to
now, is that one you'll disagree with?
Yeah, I would. I would, because I don't think that teachers competing with each other helps anybody. I think a teacher needs to be, and when you and I were kids, I don't think our teachers were competing with anybody. They were working to educate kids.
Right.
And kids got educated.
But you get a choice. So for example, I just moved to Arizona, and there's a lot of charter schools. I had no idea how many charter schools they have in Arizona. And I went to one and had my oldest daughter, and we talked to the principal. He says, listen, if you don't do well, I lose my job. Mm-hmm. So we really work hard to make sure that our kids do great, because my school is owned by a corporation. And so it was a very interesting...
Public teachers can lose their jobs if they don't do well, too.
It's a lot harder.
This whole thing of the teachers union is some big gorilla that's preventing maybe in some of the more obscure school districts in New York City. I mean, there are some places where there's more than a grain of truth there, but I think broadly speaking. Anyhow,
are we done? Are you going to kick me out, or do you want? I'll keep going if you want to go. If you want me to go, I'll go. What do you want to do?
You want to stick around for the rest of the hour?
Sure, we can do the rest of the hour.
Okay, cool. It's the Thom Hartmann Show.
Look at the producers going, oh, geez, they've screwed up the show. No! it's the Rusty Humphries Show with Thom Hartmann.
And the Thom Hartmann Show with Rusty Humphries.
There we go.
And we'll be back. It's 27 minutes past the hour. Stick around.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
TalkToRusty.com and TomHartmann.com. We'll be back.